Hello and welcome to Graceful Connections, presented by Academy for the Soul. I'm your host, Sophie Bidard, and the co-creator of Graceful Connections, together with Christel Hughes, founder of Academy for the Soul, the online school for intuitive arts. Graceful Connections is an adventure of exploration, discovery, healing, liberation, growth, and truthful expression, which is facilitated, amplified, magnified, and blessed really with grace. As graceful connections are woven between you and our expert speakers, your graceful guides into creating heaven on earth. So thank you for being with us and bringing your unique vibrations, colors, and energetic imprint without which the world would be missing. Thank you for answering yes to the calling of grace and for your willingness to create heaven on earth. So let's begin. I invite you to relax and take a few deep breaths. Breathing out all that does not belong to this moment. Let's bring all of your attention and your presence here and now. We set our intention that our time together, all that is shared in words and beyond the words, all the energies that we call in and flow serve our highest good, our evolution, and be of service to the highest good of all. I invite you to open your heart and be ready to receive. And I invite you to open your mind and be ready to receive. Remembering your connection to the center, to the heart of the earth. And your connection to the center, to the heart of the universe. You are held, both grounded and suspended. You are safe, relaxed, and ready, and open to receive. Now I'm calling the orb of grace from the heart of the universe and placing the orb of grace around our group, our gathering, each and every one of us. That we be held in the orb of grace and infused with grace all along our time together. Let's take a moment to adjust to the purity and the subtle high frequency of grace, allowing it to gracefully dissolve, realign, harmonize, amplify, magnify all that needs to be so, in purest alignment with divine will and the divine order of grace. And breathe. Beautiful. Now within the orb of grace, I'm delighted to welcome you to a special masterclass I am offering to you today. That's right. In this special week, I'm your expert speaker, your graceful guide to creating heaven on earth. So let me introduce myself for those of you who don't know me. I'm a master light weaver, flowing the purest crystalline light from the great central sun for revelation, liberation, and true self-embodiment. As a trailblazer, I open the path into uncharted territories of consciousness, weaving in light for higher awareness and evolution. I'm a master at clearing the karmic entanglements and resulting stress web, upgrading your multidimensional perception. My passion for finding and expressing the divine within combines with my commitment to breakthroughs, radical transformation, and wisdom recollection. On deep exploratory adventures into the personal and collective shadow, I unweave patterns and whole paradigms of illusion, distortion, obstruction, restriction, disbalance, bridging into new paradigms at high vibrational levels. I guide you into the reclaiming of your masterful nature with lightness and flow, turning burdens of the past into guidance for your path, gathering pearls of wisdom on your way to revealing the truth of who you are to yourself and to the world. I'm an Academy for the Soul master teacher and certified intuitive strategist, an NLP master practitioner, master energy healer, and I host the Rainbow Illuminations show on Academy for the Soul Radio. And of course, my latest initiative is the co-creation and hosting of our new online series, Graceful Connections. And I'm delighted to be with you today, exploring and demystifying karmic entanglements and how they bind core shadows, as well as how to clear them. I'll have a gift for you of a power claiming key to support you liberating yourself from karmic entanglements of your core shadows. That's a mantra of the heart that has the power to change your life. And I'll also guide you on a deep process of inner light checkup to reveal the presence of core shadows within you. You'll perceive the extent and degree to which they dim your inner light in ways you haven't been aware of so far. And this awareness is really key to your liberation, allowing you to shine your inner light fully, bright, potent, and divine. So let's dive right into our topic, and let me begin with sharing with you about how I got into clearing karmic entanglements. You see, for many years as a healer, I've been offering deep emotional clearing and emotional detox. It's been my playground and my sweet spot, really, combining transformational linguistics and the flow of light from the great central sun for radical liberation from burdens and many layers of buried, suppressed emotions. And also supporting clients in safely but massively bringing up these emotions to the surface for the purpose of releasing them, because you can only release that which you are aware of. And I did that with great success and great delight until I upgraded with an advanced training with the Academy for the Soul to gain mastery of my intuition and intuitive skills. And as the final part of this journey of tremendous growth, I received my sacred gift, which is something that Christel Hughes, the founder of the Academy for the Soul, downloads from her students' higher self. And I'd like to share with you the story of how I received my sacred gift, because it's very significant. It's kind of funny too how it happened. So I was to travel to Florida to the retreat to receive my sacred gifts. And 3 days before traveling, that was a few years ago, you see, 3 days before traveling, I had an urge, a compulsion really, to clear a large room where there were lots of spider webs attached very high up, way up on the ceilings. So I did that. And I got very masterful at grabbing them in such a way that the whole chunk would be gathered and cleared away. I noticed that there's a way to grab the cobweb, the spider web properly, a very specific way. Otherwise, a piece of the cobweb remains and then it gets stuck somewhere and it makes a mess and then it's more difficult to clear. Now, 3 days later at the retreat, when the moment came to receive my gift, Christel announced, Sophie, your gift is that you clear the stress web, which is the karmic entanglements. And she said, you know how to do that? I said, yes, I've done that. I've just been doing that for the last few days. And at that moment, I didn't just receive my gift, like the formulation of my sacred gift. I also had the assignment to actually perform it and to have intuition flowing through me and make it happen through my being, becoming the channel of my sacred gift. So I did it. I was in a slight trance, and just as I had cleared all these spider webs in the previous days, then at that moment, I just naturally cleared this stress web that I intuitively perceived. For this person, it's attached around their throat and it's choking them. For that person, it's attached to their ankle, preventing them from moving forward, holding them stuck. And as I do the clearing, grabbing the stress web, there's a moment like a moment of truth. It happens super fast within me. It's really happening through me. And I ask what to do with the residue. And the answer I get within me is to throw it over there. And I ask, what's over there? Answer, that's the great central sun. And at that moment, I receive a massive influx of energy that compels me to claim out loud, I have the authority to throw residue back there to the great central sun, to be burnt out, burnt away, destroyed, eliminated forever, return to nothingness. And as I claim this, I get to really own this ability because it's part of receiving the gift. It truly is an initiation as well as an activation and a remembrance. And people who received the experience of my gift enjoyed massive shifts in their energy. So I knew I totally got it. And then as I traveled back to Europe, I got massive downloads of the full process of clearing karmic entanglements. Because what I had first experienced at the retreat was an intense, short, condensed version, but there was a whole process revealing itself to me. And while I was on the plane, I had notebooks and I was writing notes at super high speed to capture all that was flowing through me, all the details of my gift being delivered to me with these downloads. It was really a turning point in my life and in my journey as a healer. And by the time I got back home, 3 plane rides later, I was ready to offer one-on-one sessions, private sessions. And I did that. I started offering these brand new sessions, crystalline karmic liberation sessions, even though at that stage, to be honest, I didn't even really consciously know what the karmic entanglements are. But I had total clarity on how to spot them, how to clear them very powerfully and effectively. And so as soon as I put it out there as an offer, a whole lot of clients were magnetized. And I got to do hundreds of sessions. And maybe some of you who are listening got that experience. It is incredibly profound, liberating, transformative. And doing these sessions with clients, hundreds of clients, allowed me to gain crystal clarity on karmic entanglements, what they are and how they are created. So yes, what are karmic entanglements and how are they created? It's all about choice. The choice that was made at a highly significant moment in the past, and the emotional, mental, and energetic imprint of the consequences of that choice. Well, we make choices at every moment. Every moment, we can choose to go the high road, to follow our higher self, to go with the divine, or we can choose to go with our ego, sinking or sliding into emotionality, believing that we are our limited self, whether we make that choice consciously or unconsciously just by letting it happen. Now, there are choices that are more significant than others, that are crossroads, like nodal points on your soul incarnation plan for this lifetime, moments in which the decision that is made has greater consequences than any choice made at just every moment. And that's where you choose again either to go the high road of your destiny or to slide down, being taken over by your emotionality, sinking into despair, shame, anger, fear, being terrorized and paralyzed by fear, and missing the higher choice, the choice to reach out to the divine, to call on the divine at that very significant moment. And repeating that lower choice again and again during that lifetime, missing on the many opportunities that are presenting themselves to learn the lesson and to reorient your trajectory back onto the high road. Now, this leaves such an imprint on the timeline that it has repercussions in the incarnations and generations that follow. It keeps cascading over and over again, holding you trapped. Energy, emotions, mental constructs keep recreating more of the same, more projection, more entrapment. Now, in this current lifetime, you're experiencing loops and patterns that you can't seem to set yourself free from. You're entangled. Loops and patterns keep recreating themselves over and over again. Now, when an issue is recurring over and over again in your life, no matter what the healing and the clearing that you've done already, it can drive you insane. You feel like no matter what healing and transformation work you do, you still remain trapped and disempowered. And it can be experienced like falling into a hole and getting out, pulling yourself out of it, just to fall into another hole over and over again. Or it can be experienced as being held in a restraining jacket and being pulled backwards. Or again, being trapped in a spider web that is so sticky. And the more you try to move out of it, the more it locks itself around you and pressures you, leaving you so disempowered. Now the situation is that this issue, this recurring issue, you may have healed it in your past or in your ancestry. But if it is so recurrent, it is actually present in all your three lines, your past timeline, your genealogical maternal line, and your genealogical paternal line. And now, in this current lifetime, you are at the convergence of these three lines, each of which contribute that energy. And that massive stream that has taken over your current incarnation keeps you trapped, as it's being recreated through projections. You know how I mentioned that when clearing the cobweb, the spider web, if you don't grab the whole chunk properly, then there are pieces that remain and get stuck and make a mess. Now, these three lines, your past timeline, genealogical maternal and genealogical paternal lines, carrying these imprints of the karmic lesson that was missed in your past and in your ancestors' past. They weave into your current lifetime, forming the stress web, and you end up feeling like a prey, trapped in the web. If you happen to clear one part on one of the three lines, one chunk of the web, the rest that remains is sticky and holds you back into it. Now, usually, if not all the time, it was in the incarnation plan, in the soul plan for that lifetime of yours or of your ancestors, to have had this intense experience or a repetition of it as a lifetime theme, a life lesson to learn, to grow from. But it was missed. The lesson was missed. You, in a past life, or your ancestors, did the best you could with the resources that you had at the time, the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual resources. But the lesson was missed. The challenge that had been committed to on your soul incarnation plan or that of your ancestors, the challenge was missed, and the imprint was engraved on your past timeline, or same thing for your ancestors, imprinting your genealogical maternal line, your genealogical paternal line. And today, in this lifetime, you certainly have it in your soul incarnation plan to liberate yourself out of it. And for that, you get to experience the pressure of it, the pressure of being at the convergence and at the merging of these three streams. You know, when three rivers come together and merge at one point, the resulting river carries the burden of the weight and the toxicity of the pollution that has been running through each of these three streams. So this is how karmic entanglements are created, originated, and how they form this stress web, holding you trapped in your current incarnation due to the weaving of your three lines, past timeline, genealogical, maternal, and paternal lines. Now, how to clear them? We need to clear at the source, at the point of origin. And the way I've been instructed to do that, through the downloads of my sacred gift, it is some sort of course correction. We restore the energy of the higher path from the higher choice that had been missed back then. It is a restoration of divine order, the order of choosing the divine and going with your higher self, with your divine self. So we start with clearing the stress web in your aura, which is the result of the convergence of the three lines. That's how it affects this lifetime. So we clear this stress web, and we flow the pure, bright light of the great central sun into your aura for healing, nourishing, and restoration of the natural flow. And you get some relief right away, being liberated from the hold and the pressure of this stress web. Yes, you get some relief even though this is just the starting point. And from there, we dive into the deep work on each line systematically. Past timeline, genealogical maternal line, genealogical paternal line. We get to the point of origin, fully collecting the karmic lesson, what was missed back then at the time, what was needed to be done, to be thought, to be understood, to be gained awareness of, what would have led to the higher trajectory. And it appears very clearly as soon as we get the right perspective, the right angle. It's like looking through a prism. We adjust the perspective until you get it, until you find that spark that brings all the clarity that shifts and liberates you. And the way I do that is to place an orb of truth around that point of origin, the point of the timeline when the karmic entanglements were created. And this orb of truth not only acts as a magnifying glass that grants you great clarity of perception, but it also holds the whole situation and all participants to the situation in the vibration of truth. For truth to be revealed and perceived beyond the misunderstandings, the misinterpretations, the misperceptions, the emotional and mental distortions, all that had led to the creation of those karmic entanglements. The truth of higher perspective, you get to perceive what was really at stake, what alternatives were available that were of higher vibration, that could have been chosen but were missed because of being trapped into the emotionality of the moment and being carried away by the intense emotions that arise, the interpretations and beliefs that emerge from that moment. And this heavy emotionality brings distortions and misperceptions, misinterpretations, and prevent you from seeing and finding and taking the high road, the road on which you would have been led by your higher self, by the divine. Now let me give you an example of how this could unfold. Let's say that in a past life, or it could be one of your ancestors, you were a victim of a violent aggression. Now, there are very intense emotions that may arise while going through this experience and in the aftermath. Feeling powerless, feeling like a victim, feeling ashamed, degraded, violated. Maybe even feeling guilty in some way, and certainly feeling some very intense fear, terror, maybe some rage, wrath. And it may be very difficult to get out of this very intense, heavy emotionality and the beliefs and thoughts that arise of being powerless, being a victim of others, being a victim of life. Maybe even feeling let down by the divine. But what if, and that is usually the case as we discover it within the orb of truth, what if this incident had been on your soul plan for that incarnation? And what if the challenge that you had set upon yourself was to go through this ordeal and the aftermath of it, the recovery, and taking the high road, deliberately choosing to be held by the divine, asking, praying, maybe even demanding to be held by the divine while going through it and then healing from it? That was the high road. And what is revealed in the orb of truth is that not only this high road was there, it was present as an alternative, a possibility. But also that was the highest choice you could have made And it would have led to a complete and possibly rapid healing, leaving no energetic trace of the incident on the timeline other than the positive lessons that were gained and the empowerment of having gone through it and over it with the divine, bringing a high degree of graceful resilience. And remember, it was written in the soul's incarnation plan for that lifetime. Well, what happened is that in that lifetime, you or your ancestors get taken over by their emotionality. Those very extremely intense and heavy, dark emotions of shame, despair, terror, guiltiness, debilitating beliefs of victimization, and maybe ended up living their life as a victim, miserable, debilitated, maybe shutting down from life, creating projections that keep attracting ever more situations and incidents where you were a victim, suffering from the hands of others, victimized by life, experiencing being let down by everyone, maybe even feeling abandoned by the divine. Well, the intensity of this lifetime of victimization and misery imprints the timeline in such a way that those emotions, beliefs, and energies are going to cascade into the next lifetimes and the next generations. And then a few or maybe many lifetimes and generations later, here you are. This is you, trapped in those karmic entanglements that were rooted at the point of origin, where there was a choice to go the high road, to go with the higher self, to go with the divine. But that choice was missed. And yes, we can have compassion, and we need to have compassion. You and your ancestors did the best they could with the resources you had. Physical, emotional, mental, spiritual resources. But the high choice, the high road, the challenge written on the soul incarnation plan was missed. And in private sessions, clearing karmic entanglements, I've seen hundreds of these scenarios, revealing the unfolding of how these karmic entanglements were created, how there was a higher choice that was missed at a very significant moment, how this higher choice was the choice of the higher self, the choice of the divine, was written on the soul incarnation plan. Now, once we get the karmic lesson, as we do the clearing, and getting the karmic lesson is facilitated by the orb of truth and the high vibration in which it holds the perception of the situation unfolding. Once we get that karmic lesson, then it is incredibly easy to pull out and clear the residue where there was a web of tar, heavy, dark, sticky emotional and mental substance. It is transformed into merely a lifeless, dusty cobweb, which is incredibly easy to clear out. And we return the residue to the great central sun. That's right. I got my initiation. I have authority to take the garbage out, to clear the residue out to the great central sun, to be returned to nothingness. And then we pour pure source light into the timelines for forgiveness, compassion, gratitude, and illumination, and you start living according to the new truth based on the benefits of learning and integrating the karmic lesson. You regain your freedom of choice, your freedom to make the higher choice, the choice of going with the divine, with your higher self. And you can start living according to the higher choice, the higher possibilities. The high road that had been missed back then is now restored. Now, to facilitate this work and the revealing of the origin of the karmic entanglements, I was shown in my downloads I was receiving to work in close collaboration with the Lipika. The Lipika, they are the celestial beings who have the role of being the scribes of karma, and also the orb of truth. And we create a crystalline chamber of light, the sacred space for transformation and clearing. And we flow the light of the great central sun and return the residue to the great central sun, returning the residue back to nothingness so that you are totally free. And also we work with a theme, right? We clear the karmic entanglements around a specific theme. And I got to clear karmic entanglements of very varied themes, some very personal, very specific, such as enslavement by unworthiness. That's very specific. Some very broad themes like control, domination, fear, shame, disempowerment, heartache, mistrust. Many variations, many themes with always amazing results. I've been guided to work on very deep and broad themes shared by large chunks of humanity to do great work of liberation, which truly is part of my assignment for this lifetime. Now, what are the benefits of this deep clearing and liberation work, clearing the karmic entanglements? Well, of course, the liberation from the burdens, emotional, mental, energetic, the burdens that used to weigh on your body also and on your health, and burden that used to weigh on your life, right, and on your being. Liberation from the loops and patterns of thoughts, beliefs, and behavior. No more entrapment, no more being stuck. Empowerment with the karmic lessons. The ability to live, not only the ability, the inspiration to live by the higher choice, the choice of the divine, the choice of going through life with the divine. And of course, that opens the door to grace. And this brings, I've observed this so many times, an empowerment of divine service or an empowerment for divine service. The stress web that has been cleared turns into a crystalline web, a web of light, a web of service, being of service to others, being of service to the collective, from the karmic lesson being fully owned and embodied and flipped into a blessing for yourself, but for all, modeling for others. Now, what truly happens is a rewiring of the neurological pathways. I'm using linguistics For powerful transformation and creation of new ways, I use specific language formulations as a way of deprogramming and reprogramming, unweaving the karmic entanglements and weaving new programs, new ways, installing the new program of systematically reaching out to the divine, installing the new program of the karmic lessons that are collected on all the three timelines. And then it's up to you to use your programs that have been installed. It's like on your computer, right? Or your phone. You can have the software on your desktop, or you can have the app on your phone, but do you use it? It's up to you to use it. Together, we make it so that all has been done and offered so that it becomes your logical, naturally easy thing to do, to reach out to the divine, to choose the high road. And you are inspired to go that way. It's actually placed in the hands of your higher self to guide you to systematically choose the high road, systematically make the high choice. Another great benefit is a deep sense of peace. Peace with your past because it has been flipped into a blessing. And this work is based on compassion, forgiveness, gratitude. And they are very, very much and very deeply felt as we do the clearing and after the clearing. And compassion, forgiveness, and gratitude, they are very much of the new earth, right? So these, through this work, they become natural and spontaneous to you. So this is really tremendous work of service, of collective healing, healing of humanity. We frame at the start of the work, we frame it in such a way that your individual healing will ripple wide and far. And as we do the clearing, we get to place whole chunks of collective density, collective heaviness, darkness in the hands of the divine. So we do great service together as we proceed to your clearing. Now, doing this work and following guidance and delivering my divine assignment, I've been led to identify 3 core shadows that so many of us, if not all of us, hold within us, if only to some degree. And these are so detrimental to our ability to shine our light, to be embodiments of divine light. And I want to address these 3 core shadows now. They are unworthiness, enslavement, and self-loathing. So let me address each of these one by one. To start with unworthiness. The significance of this shadow is indicated by Chiron. Chiron in astrology is the wounded healer, and it points out to our core soul wounds. Now, Chiron has been in Aries since 2019, and it will be until 2027. And Chiron in Aries specifically is all about the wound of the self, specifically the wound of unworthiness. And so with that placement of Chiron, the healing of that collective and individual wound of unworthiness is called for. It is being urged, really. So for 5 years already, we've been pressured And the pressure is only going to get greater as we go through this transit of Chiron in Aries, because it is pushing us, cornering us to heal these wounds of unworthiness and to rise out and away from it. Now, this wound of unworthiness is so pervasive. It affects so many aspects of life and aspects of the self. I see it like an energetic monster with tentacles that have penetrated every area of ourselves, our identity, the foundation of our being, the foundation of our beliefs and values, foundation of our decisions and actions, or lack of decisions and actions. And this is why it is so much on the menu for humanity to set ourselves free from these wounds, these deep wounds of unworthiness. No one is immune to it. It is a wound of identity. And we all, to some degree, have been affected by it or are affected by it. Now, the question is not whether we do it, healing this wound of unworthiness, but when we do it. So the question you need to ask yourself is, are you going to drag it all the way to April 2027 when the transit of Chiron ends? This deep wound has been triggered and flaring up for 5 years already, and we can certainly find it within ourselves, around us, in the collective, being exposed in so many ways. Now you can choose to navigate to 2027 masterfully and to be a model and an inspiration for others. Now let's have a look at some of the effects of unworthiness. It is disempowering. It tends to have us shrink ourselves. It is debilitating. We are even alienated to ourselves. And you may end up missing out on your own life, on yourself, on your whole incarnation. It depletes your life force because it affects each chakra and the whole chakra system, the whole being and all of life. It is extremely toxic with shame, despair, possibly being covered up with anger. So it turns into being in a toxic relationship with yourself. It brings distortions in your behaviors. Passive-aggressive, sabotage, distraction, addiction, procrastination, lack of self-respect, and behaviors resulting from lack of self-respect, lack of self-care, lack of self-love. It leads you to seek for worthiness in doing, proving yourself to yourself and to others, being hyperactive with the risk of burnout, because the doing is never enough and it needs to be constantly maintained, being busy, running endlessly in a hamster wheel. And it is based on judgment, measurement, comparison, hierarchy. And this is all separation consciousness. It makes you clingy, codependent, judgmental, controlling. Holding on to what you believe gives you worthiness. Now, as long as it is present and running, unworthiness taints and twists and distorts everything you do. and all that you are. It's like a massive collective and personal computer virus. And Chiron in Aries, this placement of the astrology at the moment brings to light the urgency of eradicating this sickness. Now, the second core shadow identified is enslavement. And enslavement is a pure product of the mind. And there are many, many ways of enslavement, some of which are obvious, while others are more insidious. Sometimes there are covert ways of enslavement, and it can take many forms. Enslavement by work, by relationships, by identity, by authority, by thoughts, beliefs, ideologies, whole paradigms. Enslavement by poverty consciousness, by victim consciousness, by separation consciousness. Enslavement by emotions. Others or your own being addicted to drama. Enslavement by ill health. Having disease and symptoms ruling you, ruling your life, ruining, and ruling, mastering your life. Enslavement by substance or behavior abuse. In short, addiction. Enslavement by TV, social media, news channels. Enslavement by others' agendas, by time and space. Being ruled by the clock, possessed by the past, obsessed by the future, being chained to places that it seems you can't leave. Enslavement by your own woundedness. Enslavement by life in general. Has life been happening to you? Have you been at the mercy of forces greater than you? Enslavement is a trap of the mind, supported by very intense emotions. And we can certainly realize that, considering the history of humanity, karmic entanglements of enslavement are very prominent at this time, rooted in our past timelines, our genealogical maternal and paternal lines, and coming to our awareness now for the purpose of our liberation, setting ourselves free and reclaiming our natural, our divine sovereignty. Now the third core shadow identified and prioritized, self-loathing. Now that's a very deep, dark, heavy shadow. One that we are very reluctant to even look at and to consider. Rather, we may tend to brush it away, to deny it. Oh no, not me, I love myself. And the truth is that you may have done so much work for self-love. But if only a trace of self-loathing is present within you, it sabotages and ruins all your good work and efforts of self-love and leaves you puzzled, discouraged. Will I ever truly love myself? And self-blame, shame, hurt, sorrow, despair. And there may be underlying karmic entanglements of self-loathing anchored in your past timeline, in your genealogical maternal, in your genealogical paternal lines, and holding you trapped in those deep, heavy, dark energies, this shadow that we don't We often don't even dare to venture deep enough to heal and to fully liberate ourselves. But I'm here for you. And with this assignment that I have received, along with the gift of clearing karmic entanglements, the assignment to offer this work in a tremendously deep and safe way. Safe by the care and the energetic structure and collaborations with higher beings of light. For the clearing of tremendously deep and dark shadows of humanity. With that, I've created a special offer for inner light liberation that brings all together. So as I'm going to present this now, I'd like you to follow with me. So if you're on the phone, you can go to gracefulconnections.com/Sophie2 or click the button or the link if you're on the webcast page. And if you're on the replay page, just scroll down the page. So Inner Light Liberations, option 1 is the private session package in which we clear the karmic entanglements of the core shadow of your choice, unworthiness, enslavement, or self-loathing. And you can ask me, by the way, if you're not sure, you can ask me to scan for you which of these is your priority to liberate yourself from. Now, in this session, we'll create your crystalline chamber of light, your safe, sacred space for transformation and liberation. I'll read for you intuitively where the karmic entanglements are attached in your aura, which is how it impacts you in this lifetime. And we'll start with clearing these. It will bring you relief already. Right away, you're out of the hold and the pressure of the stress web. We haven't even yet fully cleared it at each of the root points, but you already experience some degree of liberation. And then we go and do that into each line. Past timeline, genealogical maternal line, genealogical paternal line, very systematically with the Lipika, the scribes of karma that guide and support our work, and placing an orb of truth at the point of origin on each line. And I intuitively read for you where the karmic entanglements are anchored in each line and guide you there to collect the karmic lessons in depth and in details in such a way that these lessons will truly be applicable from now on. You'll be empowered and equipped to live by those lessons. And then we clear the residue, which is sent to the great central sun, to be burnt out, burnt away, destroyed, eliminated forever, returned to nothingness. And then we flow the light of the great central sun into each line and into your aura, reconnecting you with your higher choices, placing you on the high road, restoring the divine order, the order of choosing the divine and going with your higher self, your divine self. This is incredibly deep and radical work. As I said, it is totally a sacred gift of mine, something I was born to do. I can certainly say that. And I'm doing it with even more depth and even more ease than any other work I can do. Now, I've been blessed with offering hundreds of sessions, and yet I've wanted more as I was doing these sessions. All the time I asked how to bring this radical liberation to more people. How do I get to serve more people? I kept asking and praying, and for a few years nothing came until suddenly it was shown to me. This is how to do it. How to lead a whole group through the process with the same steps. How to tweak the process for group experience and for a group experience that is truly radical and powerful. And so here we're calling on Archangel Michael to bring his power to the restoration of divine order, the divine order of the higher choice, with the dimension and the energy of a group. So this allows us to grab, to hold, and to clear massive chunks of emotional and mental burdens and toxic energy that hold individuals and the whole collective trapped. So I've started offering these workshops just about a year ago with the most extraordinary results, honestly. I was even amazed myself at the results. It is totally divine mission being fulfilled. Now, I've been instructed very clearly to make by the divine, right, my higher self, through my higher self, to make these workshops very accessible in price, to appeal to many, so that many can experience this liberation. And then to have large groups gather for healing, so we do massive collective clearing work, designed and framed in such a way that we handle big, huge themes of humanity's shadows. And we set up the clearing and the liberation to serve for all of humanity. It's like pulling out the tablecloth of shadow away from humanity's dinner table. So this leads us to option 2, which is the workshop trilogy in this inner light liberation. The workshop trilogy, clearing karmic entanglements of unworthiness, of enslavement, and of self-loathing. One workshop dedicated to each core shadow. One by one, we bring them down. We liberate you from them, from their stronghold, the entrapment in their karmic entanglements. So you can live a life of love and freedom with charisma, sovereignty, self-worth to honor your life's purpose, your soul's purpose, modeling a degree and quality of self-love that truly inspires others, demonstrating to them what is possible. So the workshops operate in the similar way with the same protocol as the private session. It has been adapted to group setting and which provides tremendous outcomes in terms of liberation. So the workshop trilogy is included in option 1, where you get the private session to work one-on-one on one core shadow, plus you get the workshop trilogy, which is option 2. And then option 3 is one workshop of your choice, either clearing karmic entanglements, freedom from karmic entanglements of unworthiness or enslavement or self-loathing. Now, prior to each item, the private session, crystalline karmic liberation, and each workshop, freedom from karmic entanglements, prior to each of these, you'll receive by email precise, detailed instructions on how to best prepare for your session or workshop, gaining in-depth awareness of the shadow you're about to liberate yourself from. And this will allow you to gain the deepest possible liberation in the smoothest possible way. And I'm so happy, and to be honest, I am proud. I am proud of offering this package. I truly am, because I know the power of it. And I've received so much amazing feedback that so many lives have changed with this work in such a radical way. People are raving about it. You can read further down the special offer page. If you scroll down the special offer page, you can read many testimonials. And this is truly applying my signature work, my sacred gift, really, the clearing of deep, dark, heavy shadows that are so widely shared by so many of us. And in this special offer, it's offered with great, great value. The pricing is really making it accessible to so many with a 2 and even 3 payment option. So with this offering, I feel I'm really serving my divine purpose. And this fills my heart with joy. And yes, honestly, I am proud of it. So I invite you to join me. Pick the option that suits you, the full package with private session and workshop trilogy, or the workshop trilogy, or one single workshop. I know you'll be amazed at the outcomes and the shifts happening in yourself and in your life from there. Now, to allow you to identify the presence within you of unworthiness, enslavement, self-loathing, I want to offer now an experience right now with the orb of truth. So we're going to do an inner light checkup within the orb of truth. So you're going to receive an orb of truth that will be placed around your aura. And within this safe, sacred space, you'll be prompted with questions to explore your inner light and the degree to which it may be dimmed by core shadows. So let's do that. You can close your eyes if you want, and if it is safe for you to do so. And turn your attention inwards. And I invite you to relax and take a few deep breaths. Let's bring all of your attention, all of your presence here and now. Remembering your connection to the center, to the heart of the earth, and your connection to the center, to the heart of the universe. You are held, both grounded and suspended. You are safe. You are relaxed and ready and open to receive. Now, as I tune into the galactic center, I call an orb of truth to be placed around your aura. And you can claim it now, out loud or silently. I welcome and receive the orb of truth around my aura. And I'm offering this orb of truth, placing it around your aura. Filling and bathing your aura with the highest, the purest vibration of truth. Holding you safe, protected, informed in this truthful, high vibrational space. Allow any adjustments to this highest vibration of truth that need to happen. Let them just happen naturally within your body, your heart, your mind, your whole being. Being held in truth. Now let's bring in questions to begin the exploration, the discovery, and revelation. Proceeding to your inner light checkup. Within the orb of truth, ask your higher self to allow you to perceive your inner light. And get a sense whether you can see it or feel it or maybe even hear it or just knowing it. Get a sense of the degree to which it is covered up, obstructed, dimmed. Maybe you're even having a hard time actually finding it within you. Or you can only get mere glimpses of it. Or maybe there's a knowing within you that there's so much more to it, so much more of it than what and how much it has been shining, radiating, emanating until now. You know it's there, but you just can't access it fully. You can't express it fully. Within the orb of truth, ask your higher self to allow you to perceive to what extent and in what ways are you holding feelings, beliefs, loops and patterns, energetic imprints of unworthiness. Being unworthy of love, of true love, of pure love, of mutually balanced love. Unworthy of romantic love, unworthy of family love, unworthy of friendly love, unworthy of unconditional love, unworthy of divine love. Being unworthy of healthy boundaries, unworthy of naturally setting and holding strong, clear, healthy boundaries. Being unworthy of your power, unworthy of your healing power, unworthy of your creative power, unworthy of the power of your truth, unworthy of the power of your free expression, unworthy of the power of your love, unworthy of the power of your being, your energy, your presence, your light. Being unworthy of healing, truly and completely healing the physical, emotional, and/or mental issues you're experiencing. Being unworthy of abundance, prosperity, and the good things in life. Being unworthy of your intuition, unworthy of receiving your intuitive guidance, unworthy of intuitively knowing, feeling, seeing, hearing, unworthy of the truth. And breathe. Within the orb of truth, ask your higher self to allow you to perceive to what extent and in what ways are you holding feelings, beliefs, energetic imprints, loops, and patterns of enslavement. Enslavement by work, literally being a slave of your work, your employer, your duty. Enslavement by relationships, codependency, toxic attachment. Enslavement by others' agendas and manipulations. Enslavement by identity, being victimized on the basis of who you are. Enslaved by old versions of yourself who won't let you go, who won't let you grow. Enslaved by versions that others hold of you and you feel obligated to play the role by their script. enslavement by authority, submission, control, abuse, enslavement by thoughts, beliefs, ideologies, whole paradigms, enslavement by poverty consciousness, victim consciousness, separation consciousness, and other low vibrational consciousness. Enslavement by emotions, others' emotions and your very own emotions, possibly being addicted to drama. Enslavement by ill health, being enslaved by disease and symptoms, ruling you, ruling your life. Enslavement by your own woundedness. Enslaved by secondary gains and double binds, keeping you trapped in sickness, trapped in the need for care and for never-ending healing. Enslavement by substance or behavior abuse, being enslaved by addiction. Enslavement by TV, social media, news channels, the compulsive need to have the latest info. Enslavement by time and space, being ruled by the clock, being possessed by the past or obsessed by the future. Being chained to places it seems you can't leave. Enslavement by life in general, being at the mercy of and enslaved by forces greater than you. And breathe. Within the orb of truth, ask your higher self to allow you to perceive to what extent and in what ways are you holding feelings, beliefs, loops and patterns, energetic imprints of self-loathing. Hating yourself. Hating aspects of yourself. Hating the way you look, the way you behave, the way you speak. the way you express yourself. Hating that you don't express yourself. You silence yourself or let yourself be silenced. Hating past memories of actions you've taken or not taken, decisions you've made, words you've spoken or kept silent. Hating the way you think, or hating that you believe you don't think right, or you don't think enough, or not well enough. Hating your lack of intelligence, your lack of skills, your lack of talent. Hating your lack of presence and charisma. Your lack of courage. Your lack of originality. Your lack of creativity. Your lack of beauty. Hating your lack of spiritual connection. Hating that you feel disconnected from your higher self, disconnected from your guides, disconnected from the divine. Hating your addictions, your excess, your lacks. And breathe. And breathe. Coming back to here and now. Take a moment to make mental notes of the awareness that you have gained, the status of your inner light, and the shadows dimming it. And where your higher self has been calling your attention. And breathe. Well done for acknowledging all that came to the surface. It takes courage to face it. So, well done for being willing to notice all that you have noticed. Be open to more insights coming to your attention in the next few hours and days as these questions may keep poking you. And we give gratitude to the orb of truth. And allow it to remain and surround us and hold us in truth for as long as it serves our highest good, our evolution, and the highest good of all. And you're welcome to share your findings and your experience in the Q&A box on the webcast. I'd love to know what has been revealed to you, if you want to share. And we'll complete this inner light checkup with the gift of a power claiming key. So as I offer it to you, I invite you to be in the receiving, being attentive to the responses you get in your body, in your mind, in your heart, in your whole being. And I'll repeat it a couple times so it really settles within you. You can adopt it as the mantra of your heart. Here is our power claiming key. Even if I don't know how, I intend to liberate and shine my inner light fully and completely now. And I ask to be guided and supported. Even if I don't know how, I intend to liberate and shine my inner light fully and completely now. And I ask to be guided and supported. And one more time, you're welcome to join me and claim it for yourself. Even if I don't know how, I intend to liberate and shine my inner light fully and completely now. And I ask to be guided and supported. And breathe. And before closing with gratitude, I'd like to wrap up inviting you all to gracefulconnections.com/Sophie2 or click on the button or the link on the webcast page. If you're on the replay page, just scroll down. Inner Light Liberation. Option 1, the session package with the private session, Crystalline Karmic Liberation from Unworthiness or Enslavement or Self-Loathing. You can ask me to scan for you which one is your top priority to liberate yourself from at this moment, plus the workshop trilogy, Freedom from Karmic Entanglements of Unworthiness, plus Enslavement, plus Self-Loathing. So that's option 1. Option 2 is the workshop trilogy. And option 3, one single workshop that you pick and choose from the trilogy. And you receive by email the details, instructions on how to best prepare for your session or your workshops, gaining in-depth awareness of the shadow you're about to liberate yourself from, for you to gain the deepest possible liberation in the smoothest possible way. And we meet again in a couple days when I will be interviewed by our own Christel Hughes, founder of the Academy for the Soul, and I'll be offering live intuitive readings on the number 1 core shadow, dimming your light. So if you can't attend the live call, make sure to request your reading in advance and then catch up with the replay to receive my insights and guidance. Of course, you will receive the invitation by email or Facebook Facebook posts or school posts. So you will have all the details. And I hope to meet you there, see you there, or to do the reading for you and have you catch up on the replay. Now let's take a moment to be present once again to the orb of grace. Allowing it to remain there, holding us, holding all we have experienced, all we have received today. In the orb of grace, holding us in grace as we allow it to settle in, to integrate, holding us for as long as it serves our highest good, our evolution, and the highest good of all. And I'm closing now by giving gratitude to each and every one of you in the audience. Thank you for answering yes to the calling of grace and the calling of your inner light to shine bright and free. Thank you. Gratitude to Christel Hughes and the Academy for the Soul for offering this platform in which graceful connections grow and expand, impacting our lives, our environment, and the world at large, creating heaven on earth. Gratitude to the orb of grace and the orb of truth for providing a safe, sacred space for this journey of exploration. Gratitude for all the grace we are blessed with at every moment, whether we are aware of it or not. It offers all the nourishment, the nurturing, the healing, the revelations and the realizations that we open our hearts to receive all along this journey. Gratitude to our higher selves and all the higher beings who guide, support, and protect us. And gratitude to the divine. Thank you. Until we meet again, many graceful blessings to you all. Thank you, and goodbye now.